Hey, Scott, he's not gonna be done over there, you know that, so much will
No,
start.
I'm not worried about
Yeah.
him. We're not worried about Doug.
We're not?
Call the regular city council meeting Wednesday, February 6, 2013 to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Putoff.
Here.
Ankiewicz.
Here.
Ferrari.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Koshis. Perez.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Mazak.
Here.
Mayor Harrell.
Here, pledge of allegiance. No presentation planned for anything? Any public comment cards?
No, Your Honor.
Committee reports. Council and Finance, Alderman Putoff, Alderman Radke.
Just a couple items, Your Honor. The first item is the city council members have all received the annual audit for the year of 2012. And please review that. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them. The treasurer is here and we'll be here again next week. Be happy to address any questions. We do expect next week for it to be received, and we will make a motion to have it accepted. If you notice it, I don't want to really highlight it in great detail, but if you notice to page 8, you see a very strong fiscal opinion from the city, and you see that the fund balance increased about $750,000 from last year. So, in these times you see a city that's very fiscally sound. But please again review that and bring up any questions that you may have at next week's meeting. In addition, you're also in, I'll let the public health and safety kind of go through this a little bit more, but you see a memo from the Illinois Municipal League Risk Management. It's with our minimum maximum insurance, and those are our claims from property, casualty, and also workman's comp. But you're seeing this last year that the city had a tremendous amount of savings on things from our workman's comp. You see our premiums go down quite a bit, and the city will experience a great amount of savings with that. And I'll let the committee talk about some of the things that they've done to make that happen. But again, it's a great performance to see, and those little things do help. One of the items that we have to discuss tonight is a motion to extend the shopper bus lease with the leasing company for a 6-month period at the monthly cost of $820. The reasons you're looking at it from a 6-month experience is that renewal, it appears that the LaSalle County Transit will be in full force within the next few months, and that transit system may be able to take over our shopper bus area and be able to replace it, and maybe even be able to offer some of the residents some greater options. So in the meantime, what we'd like to do is to have a motion to keep the leasing for this period of 6 months and then evaluate it at that time at the end of 6 months. The cost is $820. LaSalle will be with us for at least the next 3 to 4 months, so we do have some sharing with that.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, to extend the shopper bus lease with Sovereign Leasing for 6 months for a monthly cost of $820. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I'd just like to add that driving the bus through the holiday season, the riders really appreciate it, and for most of them, it's the only transportation that they have. I believe it was the weekend right before Christmas, averaged about 12 riders with us. Normally, it was between 4 and 6 on Saturdays, but they really appreciate it. Rick Scary does a fantastic job. They love him. Some of the riders went ahead and made him some cookies and stuff like that in their appreciation for him. But maybe if it doesn't go forward and we have to continue the bus, I think maybe we could advertise it a little bit more, try to get some more riders. But other than that, I think it's a great program.
Okay, any further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Alderman Radke, was there anything to add that we omitted? Thank you.
Okay, and Public Works, Alderman Waldorf, Alderman Lukosius.
Yes, Your Honor. I have no report under electric, the electric department. Tonight under streets and alleys, I would like to make a motion to approve an engineering agreement with Chamlin and Associates for the 2013 motor fuel tax and non-motor fuel tax street program. Also to prepare bid specifications and authorize the advertising for bids.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Ferrari, to approve engineering agreement with Chamlin Associates for 2013 MFT and non-MFT street program. Prepare bid specification, authorize advertising for bids. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just like to go into this a little bit. This includes the motor fuel tax money from the state and the infrastructure tax. This will include a general fund project of $1,510,220. It will include a motor fuel tax fund project of $317,206.96. Also a pavement preservation program that will be started this year that will include patching holes with cold patch and filling cracks with tar, asphalt, to try to preserve our streets a little bit at $145,800 for a total project of $1,973,226.96. This is a very good street program. We worked on this between Alderman Lukosius and Treasurer Hyla, Superintendent Bleck, and looking forward to that this summer. It's going to be an excellent project. The residents should notice a lot of work going on. So I will make that a motion, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? Treasurer Hyla, are you prepared to say a few things on this year's infrastructure program and how we're going to pay for it?
Sure, it's no problem to do that. I think everybody knows that the home rule sales tax that was passed in 2011 really started coming into the city in April of 2012. We've been accruing that money monthly. Last year we had some extraordinary circumstances where a majority of the infrastructure plus what we needed to do for the ECUS expansion in the north infrastructure area was basically financed. Well, this year you're going to be able to reap the rewards from having all this money on deposit. You also have the wonderful occurrence of having more MFT money than we normally do. Everything came in so far under bid last year that the MFT money that was supposed to be spent, that we really didn't spend all of it. And so now you're going to have some additional funding available this year. You have the road and bridge tax money that we receive from Peru Township that comes out to about $137,000 included in that. So, it's just one of these that you just have another one of those unique occurrences this year that I think will serve the residents of the city very well.
But we'll be writing a check. There's no money to be borrowed this year on our project. Okay, is there any further discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to convert the four-star lift station from a dry pit to submersible pumps for a total of $49,000. To repair the existing pumps that are in that lift station would be $29,000, and we have to do that anyway. So this is an additional $20,000 to convert that. It will be safer. It's a deep hole. It's 30 feet deep. There's sewer gas. We don't have the equipment or really the expertise to repair this. By turning them to submersible pumps, it'll be safer for our city employees. Gary, can you comment further on that, please?
This is the only one we have left that isn't a submersible. What this does by doing this, rails are put into it, so when we have to pull a pump of any type, we're not in the pit itself, which is like a long tube, and like I says, when you're down there, there are sewer gases and whatnot. This allows us to bring the pumps out, do the repairs on them from above. So a safety factor alone, and Chief King will testify on these deep wells. You don't want to be down there, especially when we do not have that type of equipment to do it.
Do we have the same pumps all the way across the city in our lift stations?
No, and that's been a problem. I want to go over and talk with Mike Perry over this in the long term. It's almost like there's different pumps at different lift stations. I don't understand the reason why this goes way back. Chamlin Engineering will be able to tell us. I would love to see everyone the same, so that way we only have to keep maybe 1 or 2 pumps in case of breakdown. What it will cost to do, I'm not sure. That's something Mike and I will have to get together and come up with something.
Is that in the 5-year plan?
I don't believe it is, but I think it's something that Mike and I can talk about, and maybe it can be fitted in.
Very good. Thank you. I will make that a motion, Your Honor.
Do you have a second? Second, Your Honor. Have a motion from Alderman Waldorf, second from Alderman Ferrari, to convert the 4-star lift station from a dry pit to submersible pumps for a total of $49,000. Is there any discussion? I'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize bidding for Phase 1 of the West Interceptor rehabilitation. This is a project that has been talked about at the committee level for quite some time. It is a big money project, and we've decided to be fiscally responsible. We'll do it in phases, and this is, as I said, Phase 1. I'll make that a motion.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion from Alderman Waldorf, second from Alderman Ferrari, to authorize bid letting for Phase 1 of the West Interceptor rehabilitation. Is there any discussion? Let's see, total cost on that is estimated, what, about $750,000? So we're going to do, what, around $100,000 this year, somewhere in that neighborhood? Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Lastly, Your Honor, I'd just like to update the residents of the work on May Road for the North Area infrastructure improvements for our manholes along that stretch of road. We awarded in the amount of $112,300. The completed amount was $108,875, so we came in under budget. I do have a couple of notes here that I'd like to read. Because of the exceptionally dry weather last year, the manholes which previously had major infiltration, there was either no infiltration or very little. However, the repairs were completed as described in the project specifications. In the manholes which had a small amount of water infiltration at the time of repair, the water was stopped. The manholes that were scheduled for Type B repair but had no infiltration at time of repair were repaired in the areas which indicated past infiltration, which includes cracks with staining or calcium buildup or staining around the structure joints and pipes. All of the manholes afterwards were re-inspected, and the latest inspection being performed on January 30th of 2013. There's no evidence of infiltration in any of these manholes, so that project was a success. And that's all I have under Public Works, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Public Health and Safety, Alderman Ferrari, Alderman Perez.
Under police, I have no report, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I don't have a report under Public Health and Safety for the fire department, but we would like to schedule a meeting for Monday evening at 6:30. We're going to discuss the budget, and Chief King has a presentation that he would like to give to the committee in regards to the budget. So we could schedule that for 6:30 on Monday. That would be great. In addition, Alderman Putoff had touched on the minimum maximum status report. I'd like to have Chief King touch on that if he would.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the ML report that the mayor was talking about earlier.
we formed a safety committee. Actually, safety committee was going on in the city for quite a while, but we revamped the safety committee back in October of 2010. Part of what the safety committee is doing, it's involved with, is all the department heads, a member or an employee from each discipline in the city, and we meet the first Wednesday of every month. And some of the things that we come in and talk about are what's been going on as far as safety out in the field, any near-miss incidents. And we focused real heavily because when we first started looking at this, we were looking at, in 2009, we had a total of 53 claims to the city for a total of $531,444. It's a lot of money. We looked at it as a fact that we could very well impact this just by paying attention to our workman's compensation, and overall just paying attention to what we do is operating in the city. So we started to put a heavy emphasis on investigating all incidents, not just incidents of injuries or illnesses, but if we scraped the door, if we opened the door, we got hit, or some piece of equipment got damaged. And we basically call it root cause. Let's find out. Let's get to the bottom of it. Find out what's going on. Why are we causing this? We started doing that in October of 2010, and our report card is starting to show it now. Part of what the safety committee is doing is coming in, we do the investigations, and we report the incidents to the committee. So the committee themselves can bring them back to each separate department. If something happened to the fire department, they can bring it back to Public Works. If something happened to Public Works, we can bring it back to all the different departments and pretty much tell them this is what we need to do to prevent this from happening again and stop these incidents from happening. The more incidents we stop, the less recordable injuries and illnesses we're going to have in the city, and that's what we're seeing now. In 2010, we had 18 injuries with 322 lost time days and 334 restricted days. That's a lot. That's a lot for the size of the city that we have. So we really started paying attention to that. Discussing it at all safety meetings. We now have a member of the safety committee will make a presentation at each safety committee meeting on a certain topic. Example, today our topic was, Dave Bartley gave a good presentation on office safety. It sounds funny, it sounds funny, but actually, in the office safety, you're looking at a lot of things. Ergonomics. Ergonomics is a big tool. Big tool now. Back safety, eye safety, stuff like this, but each putting it back on the committee member, it gives them ownership in the part of the safety committee that they got to do some research, and it makes them think about it. Then they go back and they give this to the employees of the respected discipline that they're from, and it's really starting to work out good. We went from, in 2010 when we first started this, with 18 injuries, again 322 lost days and 334 restricted days, down to 2012 we had 6 injuries, 1 lost time day, and 20 restricted days. This is the best year we've had in 12 years. We're only looking at total incurred of $38,335 compared to $531,000 when we first started this. So you can see that this committee is committed. They're doing an outstanding job. And the only way, I've been involved in a lot of safety stuff. That was my background before I was in the fire service. But the only way that this is going to work is you have commitment from the top down. Everybody in the city involved in it, from the mayor down to every employee. And that's where I believe we're at right now, and our numbers are showing it. So I think we're going to see a huge savings to the city just by what this committee's doing, and they're doing a great job.
Jeff, it's a real compliment when you see it in dollars and cents. In 2009, it was $346,000, and this year $9,200 in lost claim, which is really dollars out of the city's pocket when you're looking at our minimum, maximum. So it's quite an accomplishment for yourself and all of the department heads, even including the city clerk. We appreciate it.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll move on to public property. Alderman Kewich, Alderman Mazak.
Alderman Mazak, you have anything? Okay, the Park and Recreation Committee meeting will be, next week on Tuesday evening, it is, and, Phyllis Atwell will be there. She's the president of the Sunset Horseshoe League to discuss the program with the rec committee. Other than that, we have no, well, the pool house is gone, and most of the pool. Other than that, that's about it in the rec committee.
Alderman Ankiewicz, could we get an update on the pool? Do we have one? I mean, I'm sorry, not the pool, the ice skating rink. Do we have anything on that?
Gary, did you get it in?
All the parts are in, but as far as this time, like, it's gonna be above freezing this next week. This thing would have been coming down at the last week of February. I think we should just hold on to it until next year. I think there's a better place for it than even Centennial Park. I'm looking at McKinley on the diamond itself with lighting, fenced in, parking. As long as we get that hydrant fixed to fill it, I think that should be the plan as of right now, being it's so late in the season.
Could we also look at Washington Park where the pool was?
I measured that and it won't fit. Oh, where the pool is? Yeah, we can relook at that. Sure we can. I was looking in between the two, Little League and Minor League, where it used to be years ago. But no, we can look at that, absolutely.
Anything further, public property? That's all, Your Honor. Report to City Attorney, ordinances, resolutions?
Yes, Your Honor. Everyone has a copy of the proposed amendment to the Code of Ordinances establishing Section 42-52, which would be fees for non-resident services. And this would be when the fire department responds to an emergency call and provides spill services, first responder services, extraction, jaws of life services, or anything like that. If it's a non-resident or non-resident entity, the fire chief would be able to charge the actual cost of those services to that non-resident. So, be it ordained, the city hereby imposes a charge based on the cost of services that is determined by the fire chief, but not exceeding the actual cost of the services and materials provided against persons, businesses, and other entities that are not residents of the city for the cost of all firefighting and relating services, including labor and materials rendered by the city to such non-resident persons or entities. Firefighting and related services include, but are not limited to, vehicle fires, extraction, spills, and first responder services. The fees imposed pursuant to this section shall be collected in a manner substantially similar to the manner used to collect other fees owed to the city, and such fees so collected pursuant to this section shall be deposited in a segregated account and used solely for emergency response purposes, as the same are approved from time to time by the City Council. This will be published in the Code of Ordinances.
Chief King, would you like to add to that at all?
Yeah, what this is for, we're currently doing it. When you read the report off, and at the bottom of it you say we've invoiced out $340 or whatever, that's what this is, except now we're going to make sure we have in the ordinance. So what's happened is there's some insurance companies that are balking and not paying, and we're sitting there fighting, trying to get our money. With having the ordinance in place and going back, we have more of a standing to go after them. But we've been billing all along. This is just giving us a backbone to our billing.
So you do have a price chart already set up and what you charge per... Yeah,
it's already set up. District can get more money than what we can as a municipality, but ours are already preset, the maximum we can get, and that's what we're doing now.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion, we accept the ordinances written and read.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Perez to accept the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Perez.
Aye.
Radke. Mazak.
Motion approved.
You have an ordinance authorizing execution of a lease with W.H. Mays Company. This building you're already leasing. This would be at 2828 Market Street. It's used by the Department of Public Works, and this would just be a lease for another year at $800 a month. Be it ordained, the mayor and city clerk and each of them, for and behalf of the city, hereby authorized and directed to execute the the lease and any other documents necessary to perform any acts necessary to effect and fulfill the terms of the lease in this ordinance.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance as written and read.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Ferrari, to accept the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Public Works, Black, are you using the building?
The building is basically filled. Besides our vehicles, we're putting all the stuff that was left from T.J. Lambert in there, you know, to keep it out of the thing. So, as of right now, I don't think we could be without that building.
What is it, 6,700 square feet?
64.
6,420? And you're filled up?
And it's pretty much filled up.
Okay, any other discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
The next two ordinances are regarding the street program. The first is a resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by the municipality under the Illinois Highway Code. Questions?
What is it? What is it about?
I'll defer to Mike Ricchetta.
IDOT requires that you formally approve resolution. The resolution is for $300,000. It's estimated that you'll have $325,000 roughly by August, but it was budgeted for $300,000.
This keeps state happy.
Just paperwork.
Right. And there's, what, 15 copies up here to sign for them? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Putoff, to approve the resolution as written and read. Is there any more discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
And there's another resolution regarding insufficiency of monies to complete payment of MFT project. I'll read this one just for some clarification. City approves, State of Illinois plans to make improvements, note as section, whereas the insufficient motor fuel tax funds available to the city approve at this time to do the project. Resolved that that said project shall be partially paid for by motor fuel funds in an amount equal to the MFT funds available during the maintenance period from January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2013, and the remainder to be paid from other funds. Now therefore be it resolved by the council that the city of Peru has sufficient monies to complete payment of both construction costs and engineering fees incurred in this section to be improved under the provisions of the motor fuel tax law within 90 days after completion of work.
Your Honor, I will make a motion that we accept the resolution as written and read.
Second, Your Honor.
There's a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Mankiewicz, to accept the resolution as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Move on to unfinished business. Any unfinished business?
Your Honor, I'd like to bring some closure and update the council and the public on the latest information of Operation Promise, if I could. There have been recommendations from both inside and outside sources about Operation Promise incorporating into a 501c. My thoughts always were that the expense would be pretty high, estimated around $2,000 or so, just to get the ball rolling on it and be more of a long-term plan. The day after our last council meeting, Attorney George Laynod had stepped up and donated his services to incorporate Operation Promise at no charge for the event, or to make it a 501. So the papers on that have been filed. This is definitely an opportunity to expand the program by taking it into other communities. Our next production is currently being planned and researched in the city of Utica with hopes of staging the car crash at Starved Rock. Production near Starved Rock or somewhere in that vicinity there. We're looking into doing that. Last evening, LP versus the St. Pete basketball game, they held a fundraiser, one of the first ones for Operation Promise. And thanks to them, they raised just about $200 for that event. So going forward, any donations could be made to Operation Promise. And other than that, it's moving forward, and I'd like to thank everybody, and it's going to be continue going on to be a great event. So I'd just like to thank everyone. And I have nothing further.
Okay. Any further unfinished business? New business. Any new business? Any proclamations? Petitions? Communications?
Yes, Your Honor, we have one communication from the law offices of Herbolsheimer, Henson, Duncan, Gift, Eaton, and Heinz PC requesting annexation and zoning and approval of a subdivision plat as well as the property exhibit and pre-annexation plat.
Okay, do we have a motion to receive this communication and turn it over to the Planning Commission for their review and
So
recommendation?
moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
The Joint Planning and Zoning Commission, and turn it over for review and recommendation. We have a motion by Alderman Putoff. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Alderman Waldorf. Is there any discussion? Well, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Anything further? Petitions, communications?
I've got a request from the Karis Company, Karis Corporation, to host its annual company picnic on the 14th of September and utilize Centennial Park for this event from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. About 175 people, and they will set up and clean up afterwards. And they've already confirmed the date with the police department. It says, I have spoken to the Peru Police Department, and they have confirmed that this date is still available,
What's the date?
September 14th.
That'll be what? That'll be their third or fourth in a row at Centennial Park. They bring in quite a few people, 100 or so people. It's a nice event.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Ankiewicz, to receive the communication and approve the picnic. Is make sure that it's on the record at the police department for booking.
No further communications.
Okay. Public comment? We have any public comment? There's no closed session that I'm aware of. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Ankiewicz, second by Alderman Ferrari for adjournment. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned.